All right, guys. This is episode one, Candlesticks and Coffee. Just to give you guys a brief understanding what we're trying to do here, we just like to, promote the conversations that we have with our trading buddies, in our message groups or in our Telegram groups, and put those conversations on the airwaves with traders that maybe you know about, you look up to, or maybe traders you can learn something from. So that's our goal here. It's not so much going to be an interview style, more going to be like a casual conversation that you'd be having with your buddies. What happened in the market, maybe what helped you, what didn't help you. And we'll be doing a lot of, we got a killer lineup. We have a lot of good guests coming in. We have a lot of good guests for this opening month. And eventually we'll get to points where we work into, doing stuff for you guys, the listeners, and doing stuff for people who follow us. And maybe besides the gems that we're going to hopefully be able to provide for you with our guests, maybe give you guys some giveaways or maybe give you guys some promotions. So my name's Stefan. I run Stony Financial on Instagram. Me and Kim, my partner, are going to be the hosts on here. So I'm going to throw it over to her. She can introduce herself, but briefly I'll touch on I've been trading for going on about 2 years. I'll be full-time in a month. So I'd say a year and a half would say my learning curve. So that 10,000 hours bullshit, guys, you can learn as fast as you want to. So don't let anybody dictate how quick it takes you to get to success. I'm doing this because, I like to talk about trading. I can talk all day about it, and I definitely like to speak with people who are successful. And I think it's nice to share those conversations with my buddies, my trading friends, or anybody who might learn from it. So that's me, and I'm throwing it over to you, Kim. Maybe introduce yourself.
Thanks, Stefan. What's going on, guys? Welcome to Candlesticks and Coffee. I am also the co-host, Kim. I am a full-time trader. I've been trading for about 5 years now. So it took me about 3.5, 4 to find that consistency. Like Stefan said, learn at your own pace for sure. Some people are faster, some people are slower, as I'm sure you guys will learn over the course of these episodes. A lot of it is dependent on different factors. So, who you are as a person can definitely play into, how quick or how slow you develop the skill set. But I appreciate the introduction. I'm really excited to do this with you guys. Like Stefan said, it's going to be more conversational than anything. We really want to get those conversations out to you guys because trading can be a lonely journey, especially if you're in an area where you don't know many traders. So you guys can listen in, give us feedback, ask questions. We'd love that. Anything that you want us to put on the show, we're always open and receptive to that. But today we have two awesome guests. We're kicking off episode one. So great, and I'm super thankful to have these guys on. It's Gian and Duber from Forex House Miami. I know you guys know them. But if you don't, I'm going to pass this over to them just so they can give their brief introduction.
What's up, everybody? I'm Gian from Forex House Miami. Same thing. I've been trading for I made 3 years last month. But I didn't find consistency since like my second and a half year. Been through it all, the ups and downs, the whole, all the courses, all the scanning, all everything. All that roller coaster of emotions, all of that. And yeah, after training, after so much long hours, late nights and early mornings, no sleep, everything. Finally, we're able, both of us, because we started the journey together. We're finally find consistency. I'm 23 years old. I know I'm 24. What the hell? I just turned 20. I just turned 24 like a couple months ago. So it's still getting to me still. So yeah, we started training when I was like 21. So right now, so far, all I'm trying to do with everything, at least in my part, is trying to help everybody as well. Trying to help in any form that we can, from trading to psychology to any other life tips that I can. And so far, bumping into you guys is like my second interview that I've done so far, or second podcast, I guess you would call it, what you guys are doing, which is pretty dope what you guys are doing, by the way. This is awesome. This is more of like a chill lounge, for forex traders and stuff like that, and get value from each other and help the community out more. And yeah, I'm heading out to Duber so you can introduce yourself.
Yeah, my name is Duber. Same thing, 3 years in the making of forex trading. We started fucking like very, very early on, like right out of high school. Me and him started together, and then we just decided to go through this journey together, which is honestly a good thing. But yeah, after the second and a half year, I started finally seeing consistency and profitability in the market. And then, of course, it goes back to the backstory of how Forex House Miami was actually introduced and everything, and that actually made us fucking, take off in our skill set, in our in terms of our psychology and everything, it kind of put us on point because since we decided to be transparent with everybody and we decided to put our documents and everything that we were going through for everyone to see, we kind of had to, at the end of the day, not sort of put pressure on ourselves, but we had to understand that, hey, like the things that we're going to be doing and the steps that we're going to be following to become a successful trader, we have to make sure that we're doing these things. And that kept us with our accountability.
Yeah.
And that should put us on point and on the right track. That's when all this shit started happening. And, you know, we're here now. And I'm so grateful to be part of, you know, the podcast that we're in today with you guys. I'm really grateful that we're here. We're able to just share our experiences, share our stories and things that might benefit any person that's going to see this or watch this, and they can benefit those people that are going through the same journey that we went through. But, yeah.
It's only the beginning, so we're excited.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Cool.
Absolutely. You know, it's really just, it's an awesome experience as a whole, you know, like you just see yourself grow as, you know, a trader and as a person, and it's really satisfying. And I think the thing with trading is so many people just aim for like that success and that success, and they just, you know, they think that's the end game, but trading is such a journey and it really is satisfying. Like even when you're like 2 days better than you were yesterday, you look back and see you learned something new. It's just like so refreshing, even if you're not there yet. It's just like a great way to gauge, you know, your growth as both a person and a trader, which actually brings me to something I want to talk to you guys about, like how you guys were prior to being, you know, successful traders, like habits that you had off the charts, like how did they change and translate into your like external life, your recreational life?
Well, on my part, I was be honest, I was a piece of shit. Like I had the wrong mindset. We live in Miami, so it's a very materialistic like place, right? You guys ever been here? You guys know that people here love the flexing, love the have more than you type of mentality. You have most, I have the Lambos and all of that. You know, so kind of seeing that often before having any knowledge, you know, and being mature also, because when we started, we were only like 20, 21. You know, we had just came out of high school as well, you know, took a college class, dropped out, all of that. You know, so my habits weren't there good. My mentality wasn't there. I came into this game thinking I'm gonna get rich, you know, by next month and just prove everybody wrong. And we know that's not true. You know, so how I was back then, I was very, very different. My mind was focused on other things, you know, bad habits. I didn't take care of my mental health. I didn't take care of my physical health. All I care was just like, how can I get rich quick type of thing, you know, and all those things. Like when it comes to the charts, it's like the opposite. It's like the kryptonite of it, you know, like you don't want to be thinking that way when you're entering the charts, because the market will humble you real quick. So throughout the whole journey, basically, as I started learning, I started studying people, started changing my circle too, and just my way of thinking. The simple things as reading books. Started reading a lot of books, you know, watching a lot of interviews, a lot of podcasts, you know, learning from other people. Made me literally like it dropped my ego. It made me like kill my ego and be like, look, bro, like you're not as hot shit, bro. You're not what you think you are. Like you better tighten up before you make a big fool of yourself. Because like he said, like we were documenting this, we were posting, like we put ourselves on the line on purpose. Like, hey, look, I'm a trader now, you know, when I had like one follower and shit, hey, I'm a trader now. And look, like I'm gonna document this and watch my growth. You know, and just like you guys as well, like people are watching you guys. I watch you guys all the time when you guys post, the podcast, everything. Like people watch you, and even if you guys think people are not watching you, like people are watching you, man. And like you never really know who's watching. So having that pressure, it was like, okay, like I gotta be on point. If I'm saying I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this, you know, and it comes back to discipline and mentality and being consistent on things outside of the charts. So then not giving up, because in the first 2.5 years, I was like losing money, not like frustrated, scared of dropping a higher lot size, like all the things that you can name that you guys probably been through as well, all of that. And it's like, damn, bro. And like, I'm putting myself on the line. So like, I have to be on point. It required me to change as a person, you know, like change from like, okay, like fuck the money, fuck the materialistic thing. Let's grow. Where can I fix myself? How can I control my emotions? How can I be a better person and things like that? So definitely like trading is not just what people think, just money and things like that. It's like it requires a change in yourself, in your habits, in the way you are, in the way you carry yourself, you know. And I'm glad that we did this documenting since we started, because you guys get to see how it was before. Last year I didn't look like this. I was a little chubbier. I even dyed my hair, and like I was going through it. I was going through it. Like it was
Yeah.
and like you could tell last year at my other house, you guys could tell that we were, at least I was, the type of person that care more about like partying and living the Miami life instead of going. So yeah, that it was definitely that. Like I said, I was a piece of shit before, you know. So.
Yeah, I mean, I think success in this industry, like for anyone who, everyone gets to that cross point where they just don't know why they're not getting better, like they're plateauing. And I think anybody, if you're at a point where you're not growing, there's just a part of you that's not being self-reflective, because everything that happens in trading is very discipline based and very consistency based, and you can dictate that. That's what's great about this industry is I can, if I just look back, I can see what I was doing wrong and just correct it. And that goes with anything. If any issue, any facet you're having trouble in trading, it can be corrected if you would just be self-reflective. So, and that's, it sounds like that's how you were. You learned from that these traits or these ideas or having this direction you're trying to take yourself, you had the wrong output on it, and you were self-reflective in that, and you fixed it, and that's what got you there. But everyone's trying to focus on, I need to go to the gym more, I need to be healthier more, I need to do this, I need to do that. You just need to start with just seeing what you're doing wrong and correcting it, and everything else will fall into place. Once you're a more disciplined person, you'll be able to go to the gym. It won't be such a anxious thing for you to just show up. You'll be able to cook for yourself. You won't be so anxious and just not doing that or just avoiding it. So I'm going to stack onto what you said, just being self-reflective. You'll make the corrections you need to make to be successful. And that's how we all are. And that's what you guys did. Look, 6 months, you said you've been trading for 3 years and 2.5. It took you to find consistency. And there's that 6 months of consistency. And look, you found it from being disciplined off the charts.
Exactly.
So that's a good thing for anyone to hear is, you can take yourself to success just by, trying to be better on and off the charts.
Going back, oh my God, go ahead.
I agree. Just to throw something out there, because a lot of times, like, one of the biggest problems, at least I know I have, is someone will like say a tip and it's so awesome, but I never know like how to get there. And I think the biggest thing for me with like self-awareness and what really caused me, because I 110% agree, Steph, and I think that's one of the biggest things in trading. We've seen Picasso the Wolf say it, we've seen DC say it, we've seen a lot of the big guys say it, is self-awareness. Because like you said, if you don't know what you're doing wrong, you're never going to be able to fix it. So one of the biggest things to help with that is journaling. Like, I cannot push journaling enough on you guys. And that is not even on the charts journaling, like off the charts. Like, what is your mindset on a day-to-day basis? Like, if you get triggered by something, like, write it down. If you get triggered on the charts, like, what caused you to be triggered? What caused that anxiety? What caused that fear or that anger, or whatever else? Like, and then you'll start to learn more and more about yourself, stuff that like you just subconsciously overlook daily and you're just used to the emotional reaction. But if you get it out on paper, what's causing that, you can like identify it really quickly and make that fix. But yeah, so amazing points so far. I wholeheartedly agree with the both of you. And Dura, I definitely want to hear some of your habits, like, stuff like that.
What's crazy is I want to piggyback on what you're saying there, because when to go back on talking about habits, when we were at the old house, when me and Gian finally moved out of our parents' house, and we're like, you know what, we're gonna move out, we're gonna fucking kill it. And we had our expectations were all the way up here in terms of what we wanted to do, and then reality hit us that's when we went through the shits. We got into a point where it was our backs were against the wall, and since we weren't in the mindset, number one, and number two, our work ethic wasn't all the best, and we were very, like he was saying, we're very toxic people back then. We were completely different. We weren't seeing the results we wanted to see. So when our back was against the wall, that's when we had to change our habits. That's when we literally looked at ourselves. That's when we literally looked at ourselves and we're like, you know what? We have to change ourselves first before we can even change anything about ourselves. And then what you're saying about self-awareness, that literally started by us getting more in touch with ourselves. That's where the whole vegan thing came from, because we changed the way we started to eat. And then we started to become more self-aware of our bodies, and we started to practice like this diaphragm breathing techniques that even Chase put us onto and taught us. And that made us become more self-aware of what the errors we were doing outside and, inside the charts. And that's why I want to piggyback on saying that, I think the most important thing that people and traders don't understand is that you're not going to get growth if you're comfortable in life. Like the journey we go through as traders, when people want to get somewhere in life and they're comfortable, they're not going to grow. You have to put yourself in a position where it sucks. You have to put yourself in positions that are hard for you to end up growing from that. And we were in a very, very tough position back in the old house in about like a year and a half ago, almost 2 years now. We were in a very, very tough situation and we had no other option. I promise you, like my option for me was not going back to my parents' house and telling them that I failed as a trader. And like that wasn't an option for me. I only had one plan, and that plan was to be successful in Forex. And when our back was against the wall, we started changing our habits. We started changing our surroundings. We only surrounded ourselves with people that wanted the same goals, that had the same vision as us. And thus, all of that together, that's when Forex House started forming. I remember one of our first posts was a room that we ended up putting, like, pretend like a big ass master bedroom. We put like 7 computers, 7 monitors. It looked like a big ass Wall Street trading floor. Like, bro, we just ended up fucking eat shit, sleep Forex. Like, we would just stay up. I would promise you, I would have like 3 hours of sleep after trading all night, studying all night, go to work for like 8 hours, come back and do the same thing. And I did not like stop. And I didn't stop until we found, hence the reason we found the simplicity and stuff like that. But it came from that. It came from changing your daily habits. If you want to get somewhere in life and you have this goal, don't think that your habits is going to affect the way you get there. If your habits aren't showcasing the goal that you have in mind, then you're not going to get there. So again, it goes back to that. You have to develop those habits that are going to lead you to your success rather than those unhealthy habits, those very bad habits that's not going to get you anywhere. And people have to be self-aware and go back to what you were saying, very self-aware of those things. So that's basically our habits, and everything that we ended up doing was changing everything about ourselves, everything. Like, I looked myself in the mirror. I remember 2 years ago, and I was like, I'm not happy. I'm not healthy. I'm depressed. I'm not the trader I want to be. And I was very honest with myself. I'm like, I don't like anything about my life right now. So I completely changed my life around because I told myself I didn't like what I was, so let me change it. And that's when me and him started doing the 75 go hard challenge. And that's when the spark came. Like, we ended up every single day following the 75 hard, and we started doing it. And then we failed, of course, because, there's going to be failures that we go through. We failed. Okay. We ended up not doing it. And then bam, we tried it again. And then the 75 hard ended up going being our lifestyle. Like, we ended up doing it for 75 days, and it turned into like 200 days later, basically. We were like, oh shit. Like,
you just never stopped.
Yeah.
But one thing that's crucial about that when it comes to habits is something that people don't really or like don't want to admit is like their surroundings, because we had people in the other house that we grew up with, and it's like, that's my boy, like I grew up with him. I want you to, if I had this vision, I want to be successful, and I want to eat, I want you to eat with me. But it's like, nah, bro, some of those people are holding you back. So getting rid of those people was made, and like, I guess you could say, either because I listen to a lot of podcasts like Andy Frisella, it talks about the 75 day hard. But one of those podcasts said also about changing your friends or changing your friends, which I made a video on Forex Miami about talking about.
Yeah.
Is like, either you change those people, right? I said like, yo, like change the way they think. Like, yo, come on, bro. Like we have this vision. Like, come on, let's work. And they're with it, and then they start, like adding on to it, and then we just feed off of each other, and it will take off even better. Or they're holding you back, like, nah, bro, I'm trying to change, but you're worried about the next girl and like partying and all of that. So it's like, all right, we gotta change this guy. Like, we gotta get rid of him and just surround ourselves with people. And that's when we started meeting other individuals like Jordan, starting getting close to the Carter and things like that. And it's not magic, man. Like, our habits, seeing them being here while we were here first, and we're like, okay, like, how do we get there? Seeing their habits was like, okay, now I know, like, to be there, I need to like fix myself, bro. I need to, and then just being in that surrounding, doing it together, doing it with other people as well, makes it so much easier, bro. Which is why you guys are doing this, man. I don't know if you guys live in the same area or something. I don't even know if you guys are met in person, but the fact that you guys are doing it together, it makes it so much also funner too. Like, the struggle makes it so much
funner.
Yeah, no, I feel multiple perspectives, man. So yeah, that's shared idea. But just to stack on, you said like your habits, that helped you to get better at trading. Just even if you are the type of person who's jumping in, this is for those type of people that got into trading because they want the Lambo, because they want the big house, because they want all this. These small changes, there's a P&L swap that you get for eliminating a bad habit that you have. There's a P&L swap for getting your shit together and, outside of trading, as well as inside of trading. And so think of it monetarily. If you want to be successful and make all this money, these are things you got to do. there's not getting around them. There's no getting around journaling. There's no getting around discipline. There's no getting around having a trade plan. There's no getting around these steps. And I always talk to people and they're looking for help. And they're like, well, what can I do? I was like, all right, well, what's your trade plan look like? And I'm like, well, I don't have one. It's like, that's step one, man. That's step one. You can't build upon a foundation if you don't have a foundation. So you're just waking up every morning and just trying to get lucky. But like, that's what people don't understand is there's things that you have to do. And then you can ask everyone for help all you want. And I can give you my trade plan start to finish and you won't be able to execute on it because there's everything else that goes along with it, with your discipline, your consistency, the way you see things. And there's that natural process. But if you don't correct these tiny things because of whatever self-pity that you're allowing to give you the reason to do so, you're not going to be successful. So like I said, if your motivation isn't to be just better and your motivation is all about the money, just realize the money's not going to come until these things are corrected anyway.
Exactly.
Absolutely. I think that with a mindset like that, like we have to dial it back and like think a little deeper. So for me, one of the things I started implementing was just constantly thinking of everything I was doing of a return on investment, right? Like what's the ROI on this? So like if I'm watching TV, if I'm watching a TV show or whatever, like, and it's not an educational TV show, what's the ROI on this? Like, what am I getting out of this? Is this wasting my time or is this adding value to my life? If it's not adding value to my life, if it's not adding health, it's not adding value, education, money, you know, good energy, stuff like that, like, it's just not worth it. And like, don't get me wrong, you definitely have to have some vices. There has to be a balance, but like, so many people, you know, have that mindset of just, they want the Lambos, they want this, they want that. And all their habits are just like, literally like shit ROI habits. Like they're watching TV, they're eating unhealthy. Like I literally love that you guys eat well and you take care of your bodies. And I think it's just so amazing because one thing I also wanted to talk to you guys about, because I see you do the whole fasting thing. And I know, Gian, we chatted it up about that before. But like even that in itself, like number one, that's good for your body. But number two, the discipline that takes to be able to do that. Like if you can fast, like, or if you can't, like this also shows the disciplines that you can have on the charts. You know what I mean? Like, so how do you think fasting and doing that stuff, like you have to have such a strong mindset. So has that definitely helped attributed to prove to yourselves that you can, you know, hold disciplines in the charts as well?
Yes, and that goes back to what like we were saying about like you know like your habits and all of that. Because fasting, it going vegan, you know, all those things that we're doing is things like what you said, like living outside of your comfort, correct? So like you know, like not going to the gym, eating whatever, eating burgers, eating whatever the fuck I want, you know, like not taking care of myself. It's comfortable. Like I could lay down right now. Small things are fixing your bed, bro. Like it's so comfortable to not do those things, you know. So little things like that is just for mental toughness. I do fasting. We do fasting not only because health benefits. If you research, it has a lot of health benefits, but it's also mental strength, right? If I could do those hard things outside of trading, bro, trading is just patience, waiting, like just literally waiting and not literally the art of not doing shit. You get me? And just executing whenever you see your setup, basically, right? Going back to simplicity, right? So we basically try to program ourselves, basically saying like if we could do the hard shit, make it be like a lifestyle, like vegan, which is hard for a lot of even myself. It was hard, right? Because I'm Peruvian, so like we love our dishes. Like my mom loves to cook fire food, so it was very hard for me to give up that, you know, fasting, not eating for 3 days. People are like, are you crazy? Are you stupid? And I'm like, nah, bro, I'm actually, you know, like these guys have a lot of
Yeah.
benefit. Like this has a lot of benefit. Like you should definitely do it. And if I were able to successfully do that consistently, bro, the chart is a piece of cake. Like waiting is like fasting is harder than waiting for a setup. So like it goes hands in hand, you know, and it just builds mental. And then guess what? That gets me out of my comfort zone. Eating every day is, you know, it's comfortable. You do it subconsciously too. That you're like, I'm hungry, I'm gonna go eat. But now it's like, okay, I'm hungry as fuck. Like it's day 3 is the worst. I'm hungry as shit. What do I do? The first few times that I fast, it was like, oh, okay. I listen a lot to like David Goggins. I don't know if you know who that is.
Oh yeah.
He inspires me a lot to literally go hard. You know, that's his book that I read.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a little more, you know, like extra. I'm a little more crazy when I do something sometimes to the point that like, you know, I should be careful sometimes too. But like, let's say like I'm comfortable now. We're comfortable fasting now because it's normal. Once a month, chilling, we're just fasting. But it's like, how can I kick it up a notch? Okay, now I'm gonna run 2 miles when I'm fasting. He's gonna go to the gym when you know, like things like that. Things that people are like, you're fucking crazy. But to us, it's like, nah, bro, we're trying to set the level higher and higher because the more we set the levels higher, the more we remember, like your mind is designed to stop you whenever it feels, you know, like it doesn't know anything, or like let's say you guys hit the gym and you're tired, you don't want to do the extra rep, or don't want to run that extra mile. Your mind is just at 40%, bro. Like you could push past limits, and that's how athletes do when they become the athletes that they are. So
Yeah, and
it's kind of weird.
going into that, when people say you're crazy, like it's people in successful circles don't think that's crazy.
Oh hell
People
no.
in successful circles like, yo, I did my fast last month. So the people that are saying that's crazy is because they would never do such a thing, but they're just not involved in those circles. I mean, once you get to the apex, everyone around you is going to be fasting, and that goes back to you saying cutting out the people in your life that are holding you back.
The surrounding is very crucial. That's why we always surround ourselves with like-minded individuals because I could tell you guys my dreams. Like I could say right now, I want to be a billionaire, and you guys are gonna be like, "Dope!" Like I support that. Let's get to work. Where if I told my old friends all of that, I'd be like, "Hey, I want to be a millionaire, not even a billionaire. I want to make six figures." They're gonna be like, "Come on, bro, be realistic. Yo, come on. Like, are you serious? Like, come on. Like, it's like, to get that energy away from me. Like,
Yeah, I know it's a different world for other people.
Speaking of disciplines, Stefan, I know, you have so much going on. So for you to remain, disciplined in all of that, like that's just phenomenal. Like that really is truly amazing. Like I don't know, if you want to touch on, like your home life and stuff like that, but just coming from watching your journey and everything, like what you do, with the, amount of like responsibilities that you have outside of the charts is just like I really commend you for that. That's amazing.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it just comes down to, in my opinion, it's just your motivations. So I always tell people I'm obsessed with trading. And if you're not obsessed, you're not going to be able to give it as big of a chunk as you need to. And so I talk to like college kids all the time who are getting into trading. I'm like, you're in the golden spot, man. You go to class, come home and study trading. And just after you get your schoolwork handled, study trading. And then when you get out of school, you can decide whether or not you want to go one way or the other. But time, yeah, you have to be obsessed because I was compared to kind of like an enthusiast of something. So even take a younger kid, they love video games. I love video games when I was in middle school. I got off school, I came home, and I could play video games until I went to sleep. And then like 2 hours later, I could just keep playing. That's the kind of obsession you need to have about trading to be successful in it. And you have to scratch out time in your day for it. And there's not a lot of hours in the day, but 2-3 hours a day is really all you need to give to be successful. I run a trading group. I have 3 kids, one that was just born last week. So I have 4 kids total, and I have a full-time job, and I work 50 hours a week. And I slice out time for that. You sleep less. If that's what you have to do to make that swap, that's what you have to do, because otherwise you're going to regret that you never gave it the time you wanted to. And that's the way I look at it is I'll be 30 this year. I didn't start trading Forex until I was 28, 27 and a half. So I missed all that time already. And I've been working for 10 years. So I understand the imprisonment that you take when you work that 9 to 5 for the rest of your life, what you're going to miss. I missed my entire first son growing up. He's 8 now, but I want to see everything from 1, 2, and 3 again. And these are things you guys are going to miss. And that's why I slice out that much time for it. And I'm obsessed with it. I love learning new things. You aha moments is the biggest jump in your feeling. Whenever you have an aha moment, you spend that night back testing for 5 hours because you figured one tiny thing out. It's obsessive, and success is going to breed that. So anybody who's feeling like, I just don't want to do this anymore, take a week off or trade 0.01s or trade your trading session and start testing pre-New York if you have the time. Start testing Asian. If you're not in the point where you're living off of this, you don't need to lock yourself down to a session. As long as you're putting time into learning, work it around your schedule, but don't say I couldn't trade. I talked to somebody the other day, and he kept taking losses, and his window was like EST, like 1 p.m. until 4 p.m. I'm like, you're literally trading the worst time of day. That's why you're taking losses. I'm like, why don't you trade in the morning? Like, well, I have to get up for work at like 6. I'm like, same, bro. Get up at 2. Get up at 3. Like, you're missing out on the best hours to make your life more comfortable, and that's not how this is going to work. Especially if you're doing 2 things, you have to give 100% of your attention to both things. It's impossible if you cut any slack on your trading.
Absolutely. It's that's the thing. Like with comfort, I know it's a topic we've been touching on a lot. Like we're everything's bound to grow. You know what I mean? You just look all around you in nature, like everything grows from a seed to a plant to this to that, like everything grows. And so, us designed as humans, we should be growing as well mentally because we do grow physically. And I think with that, like, there comes a limit. Like, think about if you are a child growing out of your clothes, right? At some point, your clothes are too small, right? They're restrictive and they're uncomfortable. But like a lot of people, when they reach that state mentally, they just kind of like go back into their shell. But like obviously, as a kid, you can't ungrow your physical body. So like we need to realize that when we feel that restrictiveness, it's just us growing. It's an indication that we're pushing our limits, and we shouldn't be afraid of that. We should embrace that. Like that should be exciting, honestly. To me, that's so exciting because it's like, like I'm about to have, like you said, that breakthrough, and how refreshing are those breakthroughs? Like you said, you get so excited.
Especially when you take your first trade with the breakthrough, and then it's really impressive. You're like,
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
that's right.
You watch it work, and you're like, what the fuck? I should have just done this every day. Like, what am I doing?
It's like that, and then every day from then on.
And
So
then,
that you should want to stack those up and keep building. I understand not being motivated before you hit that pinnacle of success, but that pinnacle of success isn't hit if you're not motivated. You have to get obsessed, or you have to, like, everybody will go to work and grind for 10 hours of a job they hate, but won't spend 2 hours on a chart.
never understood that.
It's like, that's if you hate going to work, but you're able to grind through that, you can grind through something that you're literally, I always use the term, you're creating a money printer. Like, what other job are you literally creating a money printer? Like, you need to sell something or you need to serve somebody to make money. This is neither. All you have to do is hustle. And then it's like, well, I'm going to make excuses. It's like, well, that's up to you, but that's what it takes.
You're like the poster boy for like no excuses. Like, you know what I mean? If you can make it happen, anyone can make it happen.
Anyone can, yeah, that's the thing. I don't consider myself super smart or anything. It's just pattern recognition and just following a plan.
Facts. Huge facts.
Absolutely.
That's all it is.
I had someone I had someone like not too long ago, and like to this day, like he always hits me up in my DMs and he just asks me for guidance because like he just, in my eyes, in my ears, he's giving me excuses, but to him it doesn't seem like that. He just tells me that he's busy, he has work, some other things, but he wants to be this successful trader. And I'm like, hey, like, let me put it in perspective for you. The lifestyle that you have right now that you complain about because you're complaining about it, you're putting yourself in the victim mentality. Let me tell you something. If I were to give your life to somebody else that wants it more than you, they can make it happen. And the difference between that person and you're giving me excuses and they won't. They'll actually sacrifice a lot of shit to get shit done. You're coming in here telling me that you work a lot of hours. Well, guess what, bro? So did I. Like, we have the same 24 hours in a day. I don't get 28. You don't get fucking 20. We get the same 24 hours, man. I just decide to use my time wisely. While when you're busy and maybe sometimes that you might seem like you want to chill, but if you really want it, you go out and do it, bro. So don't.
You eat your dinner in front of the laptop.
Yeah.
You have to get on it. And I have people like that too. They'll hit me up and say, well, and like I was saying, like, but it'll be like they want to sleep in. Like, if you can't wake up, dude, just give up, dude. If you can't wake up, you're not ready for the critical decisions you're going to have to make about yourself.
Hell yeah.
That's the first thing. Just get out of bed.
That's like level 0. That's not even step 1. That's step 0. If you can't even wake up, then don't even think about
it. Right. You're already behind the curve. But that's what I feel like most people don't think like that. Like, people think that they think long term, but they think short term. So it's like, you say you don't want to get up, or you say you're uncomfortable doing this, but if in that moment you actually had all the money that you ever wanted, say you were a multimillionaire, billionaire, whatever, like, what would you have to do to be that? Like, that would be normal for you. You're not going to be sleeping in as a billionaire. Like, I'm sorry, your billions will be out the door if you're sleeping in as a billionaire. Like, you could say, oh, I have money, so I don't have to go to work and I'll have all the time I want. No, your habits need to line up with that money. And if they don't, that money's going to go. Like, you know what I mean? So you have to, like, practice these habits and ask yourself, like, what am I going to have to do this as a millionaire? Because if I am, then I better start doing it now, because otherwise that money is never going to come. That's one of my favorite sayings. I'm not sure if you guys see it posted or not, but it's choose your hard. It's like hard to be overweight and it's hard to go to the gym. Choose which hard would you rather have? It's hard to wake up early, or it's hard to, miss out on things and miss out on your dreams because you're sleeping in and you're never going to be the person you want to be. Choose your hard. Like, both things are going to be hard, but what is the end result that you want? One's going to lead to success, the other's not. So.
Yeah. Someone that said, like, it's hard to be broke and it's also hard to be rich, so choose your hard.
Exactly.
Yeah, it doesn't ever get to a point where it's like, all right, I'm successful enough that I can take it easy. It's like, nope. At that point never comes. Like, people who are, like, they look at Elon Musk with all his money and think how easy his life must be. He probably has like 4 hours a day to himself. and he
That,
spends it sleeping. Like that's what it takes.
that's actually a huge turning point of me personally. I remember after the 2.5 year mark, I went through something because I found some consistency, found some profitability in the markets, and I started seeing success. But then guess what happened? I got comfortable. One of the things that I believe in is you have to work hard to get something you want in life, but you have to work harder to maintain that shit.
To keep it.
You don't just become a fucking millionaire and then you get to sleep for the rest of your life. No, you have to actually work 10 times as hard because you have to maintain that lifestyle. So when I started seeing success, I slacked off a bit and I actually went through a slump because of that. Because I don't know what the fuck was wrong with myself. But then when I started looking internally, I just got comfortable, bro. And after I found out I got comfortable, I snapped right back out of it. And now I push myself. Now I fall in love with pushing myself. Bro, I fasted for 72 hours, and on the third day, I'm at the gym. I'm about to pass out, and I'm telling myself, and I told Gino was there, my boy was there, and I'm like, bro, I'd rather pass out in this gym than fucking call it quits and go home. I'd rather fucking die right there in that floor because I'm going to give it my all because I know my mind might just be playing tricks with me, but I know I can push more. So now my work ethic is like, I don't ever want to settle, bro. I want to just keep fucking growing. If I find myself to have a little window of time, I pick up a new habit. I picked up boxing just because I have time out of my day. So now I'm fucking boxing. And then look, you can pick up different things, different skill sets, and just grow. That's what growing is. People get comfortable. And if you get comfortable, I feel like that's just like I wanted to preach this because I hear this a lot from Gary Vee. And those people that choose their 20s and they're not fucking sacrificing in their 20s and they're being mad comfortable in their 20s, they're gonna reap those results in the future. Like during your 20s and you're getting out of high school and then you're this young person, you have the time to fuck up, like do whatever you want to do, sacrifice, fuck up. You're not missing out on anything. I promise you. At the end of the day, everything's gonna stay, but you're actually gonna end up just stalling. You're not growing. You're comfortable.
I call it like us being comfortable is uncomfortable for us. Like that's how I started seeing it. Like
Get comfortable being uncomfortable.
exactly. Like if I'm not doing shit, I get anxious. I
Yeah,
get
like you're wasting something.
yes,
Like
I
your
get like something in me just like doesn't sit right with me. That's why I hate weekends. So I started to pick up new shit. Like we're here doing fucking yoga. I'm dancing salsa. Like I'm picking up shit to do. Like just for like your mind doesn't care what you learn as long as you're learning. That's how also you grow your mindset as well. So picking up new like habits, hobbies, and stuff like that. But especially that outside of trading is gonna help with trading, all of that. Like it all reflects on the chart, man. The chart is a reflection of your habits and your stuff. So that's something that definitely keeps us going, man. To be better.
Sure.
Get uncomfortable. Get out of your comfort zone, man. It's fun.
Pressure makes diamonds.
Exactly. There you go.
How it is, man.
I don't know.
Yeah, I agree completely. But I mean, it's just that's what it is, and it's one of those things that you can't tell somebody. You can't tell them this is what you need to do to be successful because they don't think it's that. They think it's this pattern that occurs once every 4 days on this time frame, and they just need to know that one pattern and they'll be successful. But no, just correction and just discipline, and it's difficult for everybody. Nobody wants to wake up and do all this stuff because a lot of people get drawn to trading because they don't want to work, but little do they know, it's going to take a lot more doing the trading. Just because you're not moving your body doesn't mean you're working. You got to put your brain under a lot of stress and a lot of changes to rewire yourself. And it's just there's just no room for excuses because somebody else is just going to take it. Like the industry's so big, someone else will just do it. That's all it takes. But you have to be cutthroat to make it, and you got to turn yourself into that person.
I want to ask you guys a question. What was it that you guys realized was your paradigm shift?
Like what made us successful?
Like what or when do you guys realize that you're like, oh shit, like I'm actually doing this? You feel me? Like your paradigm shift, like where your mind shift and you're like, you know what? Like I know we're all humble, but where you're like, oh shit, like I really be doing this type of thing, like
I got this.
I would say it's just like my shift was when I started focusing more on like system building and focusing more on building a trade plan. And then once I saw consistency, that's what people need to know. Once you see consistency and you see it based on an approach that you created, meaning you control it from A to Z. When you're just trading and you have a good ass week, but you took lucky trades, you took trades outside of your plan, you're going to go into next week worried about losing the money from the previous week.
Yeah.
But my paradigm shift was going in there and being successful based on a successful approach And then coming back the next week, not worried about losing last week's money, I was like, okay, no, I see what this is. And that was the shift for me, is just seeing that scheduled approach takes away that fear of losing the money. But we all had our lucky weeks where we flipped accounts, where it's like, yeah, I turned like $600 to $1,200 like 4 months in. I was like, I know what I'm doing. And I gave it all back because, you're worried about losing the money you just made because you don't know how you won that money. The paradigm, you got to trust yourself. And in trading, for me personally, to trust myself, I just had to, let go of the reins of controlling my trading. And that was a paradigm shift for me, was following a planned, scheduled approach and seeing consistency based on that.
All right. Awesome. Beautiful, man. That's all it takes too, to be honest.
It's true. It's too many people, like you said, try to control the factors. But at the end of the day, if you set up everything right, your only job is to push a button and, maintain your trade properly. Like, you should literally have a whole foundation set up for yourself that, like, that literally does all the work. All you do is just, like, push that button when the time comes.
Yeah, I get messages. They're like, does smoking affect your trading? I'm like, I'm not trading. I'm just, when A happens, you do B. When B happens, you do C. I'm data input over here, man. My thinking is when I'm back testing and I'm making adjustments to my trading plan. When I'm trading, I'm not thinking. I'm just click, click, click. And especially with the way I do things, I don't TP and I don't adjust my stops. So once I enter the trade, I set a TP, I set a stop, and I set an alarm, and then I'm done. Like, you just got to simplify it. And where my mindset is should not affect my trading, because my mindset's only going to cause me to not follow my plan. Yeah. But my plan's not the issue. So any mindset, you can be successful if you have discipline to follow your plan.
Well, I think that's a really important point to make. That was really valuable, because you're right. Like, your mindset is the thing that's going to dictate it, and I always tell people, if you go, and this is where self-awareness comes in, if you come to the charts and you feel like it's okay to have an off day, people think they have to be 100% at the charts all the time. Like, that's not the case. Like, just like a mood changes every day. Sometimes you just wake up and you feel a little off. Like people who are successful and people who are self-aware, do they just like wallow in that and do, whatever else in self-pity? And no, like, you'll do something to change it. If you feel you're off, go for a run, go for a walk outside if it's sunny out. Like, do something that makes you feel good, even if it only takes like 10 minutes, and just step away, recenter yourself, and then come back. Like, and it's just, those are the things that really like change the game. And that kind of ties into, what Gian had asked about my paradigm shift. Actually, mine was a lot of it like off the charts stuff. Like I said, I was trading for 4 years, about 3.5 before I started seeing consistency. And like, I can't even tell, like, I laugh looking back because I never journaled in those 3.5 years. I never did anything, like no risk management, no risk to reward, no journaling, no set window. Like, I literally laugh at, like, I was a person that was trading at 3 o'clock in the afternoon EST time, like, made zero sense. And like, once you start adapting those small habits, that's like, that stuff just changes the game. And like you said, Stefan, it also ties into you, like, realizing that when you're in your trading window, like, your plan is what's in control. You're not trying to control anything. You can't control the markets. Your time is in, your back testing, your analysis of your trades post-week, your market prep pre-week, like all that stuff. That's when you're thinking. But during your trading window, you're just there to like execute, and that's it. And if your trade plan works, like, just have confidence in that and just let the rest go. And I definitely want to throw that question to both you, Gian, and Duber, because I would love to hear what that turning point was for you guys that really made you realize.
You want to tell them when we simplify trading, like how we did?
Okay, so we usually go, when it comes to simplicity, like trading, I guess you could say the paradigm in trading, because the paradigm overall for us was like when we cut off all the negative people in our life and decided to change our habits. So that's when everything affected. But in trading wise, like you said, like, we went from spending 8 to 12 hours a day back testing and trading. So like now, like 2 hours, 2 to 4 hours we trade, and that's it. Like, we don't really be spending so much time on the charts, right? Because just like Stephen said, like, we already have a plan that all we do is just execute. We don't like, it's like second nature now. We don't gotta overthink. We don't gotta do none of that shit. Just whenever that happens, I'm gonna execute. Stop loss, take profit, whichever hits, it hits. I know that on the long term I'm gonna win more than I'm gonna lose. Okay. So for us, when we went from this complication shit of like all these time frames, all these strategies that we know, we just went to our secret place where it's like where we go to manifest here in Miami, which is like Star Island and shit, which is like all the mansions where all the people. That's where we want to live in the future.
Mhm.
And we pulled up our laptop. We're both high as fuck. We're looking at the charts and we're like, yo, how can we simplify it? I read that if you could explain complex things, to people in a simple manner, you're gonna be very well off, And trading is one of them. And
Mhm.
that's when we looked at the chart and we're like, okay, I learned a lot about patterns, study a lot. I don't really study people like in this industry. I study people that are in this industry, but not on Instagram, like, Paul Tudor Jones and James Simons, like big name, like hedge fund managers, billionaires
Yeah.
because those are people that you kind of want to study, not just your local IG Lambo guy.
Oh,
And it's like, what, like, simplify? How can I simplify? We're like, okay, patterns. From this time to this time, a training plan, right? Okay, what does it do? Oh shit, it does this. Okay, that's it. Let's do it all the time. And now, ever since, we just do that all the time, and it works.
That's it.
that's
It took like 5 minutes to see, like, something. We literally looked at the chart. We looked at, okay, it does this. Okay, chill.
Yo, every time me and Gian because me and Gian have a lot of our aha moments, a lot of our click moments. Like every time me and him sit together and just back test in one chart, look at one thing, we're just here like, okay. Every time we have like one thing. So that day we grabbed our laptops, we went into our spot that we always go to since high school. We go to the spot and we sit there and we're like, yo, how can we simplify this, man? We looked at that shit for like, I promise you, no more than 10 minutes. We looked at it for 10 minutes and we're like, oh shit. We went back home and we studied it. We went back home, we back tested for like, bro, like forever.
For like the whole day.
For the whole day nonstop, the whole weekend nonstop. We grabbed a lot of numbers, we did our numbers, and then bam, at the result, everything, we were like, this is it. This is what we're gonna stick to. Like, I don't care about anything else. I'm gonna block everything else. I don't give a fuck what he's doing. I don't give a fuck what he's doing. I'm in my road. I'm in my lane, and I'm going with this. And that's literally what happened. Like, we stopped focusing on fucking other things, and we literally just found something that works. And what works, we just kept with it. That's it.
Yeah, and when it comes to simplicity, studying more, because that kind of, once you have your aha moments, you're like, damn, you're actually like excited to like keep on learning and like, oh shit, this shit works. Let me keep on trading. Like, you find that spark that you're like, oh shit, like I can't wait for Monday, bro. Like, Monday becomes your favorite days now instead of like dragging it. I started to realize more about, I guess to a certain extent, math, right? But not like adding, subtracting shit. More about like statistics and probabilities. And we're like, damn, bro, like the more shit which we all went through that, all the courses and shit, the more harm it was for us because now we have more time to doubt ourselves. We have so many tools that we're like, shit, I need 70 confluence for me to enter a trade, which is something stupid, right? Now it's okay. It's more of like, if this happens, then I'll do it. If it doesn't, then I don't fucking do it. As simple as that. And then all of it too is also on our Forex page, Forex House Miami page, right? That is free as fuck. But just like you said, people don't have the discipline or the understanding that it just goes over people's heads. And we're like, dude, if you go to Forex Miami, because it's been a year already since we had the Instagram page, all our breakdowns is the same fucking shit. Man. And it's the same people and different people that is like, yo, what the fuck? And it's like, yo, I've been saying this for a year. Like, you feel me?
And then you still get the questions like, how did you enter? It's like there's 56 examples on my Instagram. Like, I'm not gonna tell you how I entered the trade.
I did a stupid. I was like, yo, go on Instagram and then come back to me. And that's how I know if they're really disciplined or not. Because
you also know because they know you have like resources, but they still try to get a backdoor like 3-hour webcam with you. It's like, I'm busy. Like, you're just gonna hit me up and try to get free help, but I offer help to people.
I spend my time to record this for you guys. Yeah, you said fuck this. Let me go.
Yeah, you said no. I just want you to redo it and just do it one-on-one with me. It's like,
I want to hear from you.
And it's just crazy because what you see on my Instagram is how literally we trade, simplicity. I don't look at more than one time frame. I don't use space. I don't use anything. It's literally, if it does this, then I'll do it. Okay, it does this.
Yes, sir. That's all it takes. That's all it takes.
And that's all it took. And then the rest is risk management. Always 1% to make 3. You're always gonna win because you're always tripling your investment. Always. And it's like, yo, like, and then it made us feel stupid. Like, yo, 2.5 years down the drain, and all we had to do was this. Like, we learned all of this to just live with this. And
like I tell people that too. You read a 300-page book, you might get one thing that causes you to catch 10 more pips.
Yeah, exactly.
But yo, you know what Picasso said is that all it takes is one time. That's all it takes. It just takes one time. It don't matter how many times you try. That's all it takes. It takes one.
One time.
That was our one time. That was it. That we just like, fuck it, we ran with it.
One time for 2
amazing. No, that's like, I feel like it's always those little moments though, it's like the little moments that you have the biggest clicks. and like you'll just stumble upon them. Like it'll be like because when you're trying so hard for so long to see something, it's like hard to see it. But the second you kind of relax and you're just like, all right, well, let me just like surf around on this a little bit, and then it just like clicks, like you just get it, and those moments are beautiful. And I really love that you guys trade so simply, because I think a lot of people's problems is they overcomplicate everything. Like you said, you need 7 confluences, or 7 confirmations or whatever else, like to pull one trade. By the time you realize, if you have all these confirmations, the trade already left without you. Your risk reward now is all messed up. So it's that's awesome, and I think that's a huge key point. Is simplicity. Bringing that simplicity.
This we got a huge thank you to Weed.
That's why I put your name, Stony Financial. Like
That's right, boy. That's right.
This is like funny shit, but like this gave me so creative. Like I literally make my room vibes and shit. When I know it's daytime, but at night, like it's just all galaxy shit. So I'm literally feel like I'm in a spaceship, and I'm here like holy shit, I'm in the mate, and we're just getting high and we just start chopping it up. So,
yeah, it just causes you to think outside the box a little bit, and I think it's a good aid for me for my psychology. Like when I enter a trade, if anyone listening has trouble not fumbling your trades, like not touching them and letting them play out, smoke a blunt, play a video game, go do something else. Just if you sit in front of your computer and you stare at that trade, you're going to convince yourself that something's happening that's not, and you're going to close it, and 3 hours later it's going to hit TP.
Exactly.
So
and
just
that hurts
do something else.
Out. When you close your trade, like let's say you do 1 to 3, right? Just talking for example, right? And you're at 1%, you close because you get mad, like impulsive, and then it goes to your 1 to 3. You're like, fuck, I'm an idiot. I should help. That hurts more than like I got stopped out.
Exactly.
It's like all I had to do was nothing. Like you can't even do nothing, right? Like,
it's so funny because like people don't want to do the work necessary to get them to be a successful trader, but then at the time that they're not supposed to do any work and they just sit down, that's the time that they want to start doing everything.
Well, you almost got to blame a little bit to like, I wouldn't exactly say Carter, but like a lot of the industry tries to make it look harder than it is.
Yeah.
They try to make it look like this advanced knowledge that you got to dig up and you got to know these patterns. It's like to be profitable, all you need to do is just like I would say, trade 4 hour structure. You want to be profitable, just trade 4 hour structure, and you'll be profitable. And then everything else is extra. But if you can't get profitable with 4 hour structure, you're not going to be profitable with everything else. Exactly. It's much easier than you think it is to be successful. It's much harder to be, 30, 40% a month. But if you're looking for 3, 4% a month, you can get that with like a very basis level amount of knowledge. It's just, you just got to be consistent with it. So that's what's difficult. It's not learning the market. I always tell people marking it up that's like 10%. You got a good markup, that's 10%. Your entry's like 30%, and then your psychology is like 60%. That's it.
Exactly. Yeah, agree. I think a big problem is a lot of people shoot for the moon too. A lot of people see these Instagram traders and everything else that drive Lambos and this and that, and they think like they automatically attribute that to successful trading. If they're not generating the money in trading to be able to buy that stuff, they don't deem themselves a successful trader. But the webinar, like me, Picasso, DC, we were like talking on a webinar not too long ago. That's in like the CFX page, but one thing Picasso said is a lot of people like are successful without even realizing it. Like some people only need, X amount of money to change their life. Like they might work a job and maybe an extra $100 a week. That's $400 a month. That could pay their car payment. That is something that could definitely be super beneficial to them. And $100 a week, that's what, like 20, 25 bucks a day? Like, you know what I mean? So it's like I like the little goals, and like if you could just do that, and then going back to what Gian and Duber said, like that generates like the consistency, and what Stefan said, like the consistency is what makes you trust in yourself, and it just all builds on top of it. Like don't be shooting for the moon, when you haven't even pulled X amount of money out of the markets yet. You could be a successful trader without having to make millions of dollars.
Okay. Yeah. It goes to people's, like I noticed this, and I forgot where I saw it, but it really like people should definitely like pay attention to this, which is like you guys, a lot of people, like they said, like you guys are successful, you guys don't know it yet. And the only reason like that attaches to that, what I saw was people are just, not that they don't lack like skills or knowledge, it's just undercapitalized, because it is, they think a $500 account, $1,000 account is gonna make them like 6 figures, 7 figures, and it's like, bro, If you get 100% on your investment in a month, that's a big reward, bro. It's not gonna make you a living, right? Because you flip 500 to 1,000, that's only $500 a month. You're not probably gonna quit your job, you know, but you just undercapitalized, you know. Stay at your job, save up, live beneath your means, right? Save up, and if you do the same shit you did with a 10K account, now you're gonna be happy with those 1 to 3s with a 3% return. You know, so people don't realize that they have the skills, they just undercapitalized.
And you're 40 days away from $100,000. All you have to do is master the skill first. Like at the end of everything, like if you master the skill, then you could pass an FTMO and you're funded. Like the process of like everybody needs all this capital and just building up your account, it takes time. But realistically, if you just spend all of that time mastering the skill, you could spend 40 days earning an income for it. And then everything else comes. But people want to make money so quick. It's like if you're not doing it for a living, you're not like my brother. He's trading with $100 account, and I'm teaching him. He'll be 30 cents a drawdown. And he'll be so angry. It's like, bro, it's 30 cents. 30 cents. I'm like, you're not making money right now. What you should be worried about is following a plan. Like, money does not matter, and it's going to be like that because it's a skill. Whether you're trading with $100 or $100,000, you're doing the exact same thing. So treat that $100 like $100,000, and you can't let the money play a role in your psychology at all. At all. Don't. I buy the position and then I watch TradingView. My TradingView is not linked up to my trading account. I cannot see my P&L. I can look at the chart. I can see how far I'm down, and I can do the math in my head. But I don't know how much I'm legitimately up. I don't watch that. You can't let the money affect how you trade.
Exactly. I agree. I think it's so funny because the first time I literally placed a trade, I'll never forget, I was in IML, right? So I had a $10 account with Traders Way because they let you open an account with $10. So I opened an account with $10. I placed my first trade and I'm negative 8 cents and I am sweating bullets. Like I am mad. I'm angry. It stopped out at like 8 or 10 cents or whatever it was. And it was just like the most absurd thing. And it's just funny looking back on it. Like, it's like, like 10 cents, come on. Like that, but you're so right. Like people don't think like that. Like they think that they just automatically have to win, but you're in those stages, you're not there to make money. And people are thinking like, okay, I'm gonna make money. Well, if I won, what was I gonna win? Like $1? Like it was an egotistical thing more than anything. Like, what is $1 gonna do for me? So, it's all like, you're right. That's a really key point that you brought up. Like that whole mindset, like flip that, focus on system building, like you always say, and then the money will come. But you're like, be realistic with yourself. If you have, $100 account, is that really going to yield you $5,000, every couple months?
Yes.
So, it's just like that. But
That's what we
Yeah, I
do.
didn't trade cash for a long, long time. I traded demo for a long time, and it's not because I didn't want to trade cash. It's because I didn't have that luxury. I'm paying the bills at home. I didn't have all this extra money sitting around. So I traded a little bit of cash accounts when I first started trading, but then I went to trading like $1,000. It would go up, it would go down, but I wouldn't mess with it much until I found my consistency. So it's not going to change the path that you take if you guys just use a little bit. I do believe you should use real money because, like I said, even 30 cents or 8 cents hurts you. But I remember when I made like 17 cents on a trade and I was through the moon. And on Monday, I paid my mortgage in 30 minutes. So it takes time. But that money aspect, that'll come with mastery. It won't come with, just trying to make more money on every single trade.
Just focus on the skill set, man. The money's gonna come. That's what I tell people all the time.
Exactly. You're in college. That's what it is. You're in trading college and you're willing to go to, I said this in my story the other day. People go to college for 4 years and they'll get a degree for a job that may pay 18 to 19,000 a year, but they won't give trading 2 years. Because if you give trading 2 years, you're going to find enough consistency to obsess yourself, but you got to give it at least that.
You're soft. Like right now we're juniors. Like we think about college, right? Like we're not even graduates yet. Like we're not even a 4 year. When you're 4 year, you're a senior. Like it's like like if you're wired to thinking like college mentality, like things like that, then make yourself feel like, hey, I'm just a junior right now, so I shouldn't be getting my degree right now. Meaning shouldn't be like being so hard on myself if I'm not successful, profitable, because 4 years is nothing. Like people, like I said, go to school 4 years to get in debt, and then like you get a job to pay it off.
Get a baby, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, your debt in trading is as much as you put into it. So just control yourself. Even if you went balls to the wall, you're not spending $75,000, which you're spending on like the cheapest degree at school.
By having that type of account, like 75K account, of getting in debt. Just put that 75K.
4 years of learning how to trade, and then you end up with a 75K.
Yeah, pay your tuition in your trading account. You're not going to touch till you graduate.
Exactly. What? Hell yeah, bro. That's all my kid.
That'd be the way to do it, man. But people, that's a process. I think that's the name of this episode. Is pressure makes diamonds. That's what you got to do. You have to go through it. And there's nothing else to do. People can tell you, and you'll be like, nah, no, that doesn't make sense to me. When they tell you something simple, like, well, what's your risk management look like? Well, are you being realistic with yourself? Are you doing the same risk on every trade? Because that second you trade, you take after you lost, that's over leveraged. That counts as 3 losses. So your 1 to 3s aren't going to do much when you're losing 3 on every time you lose a trade. So it's just being realistic with yourself. But, that's the process, guys.
Tough pill to swallow for many people, being realistic with themselves, being real with themselves.
Yeah. The biggest challenge for sure. Absolutely, absolutely. Well, I think it's safe to say, we'll wrap up this episode for today, but it's been absolutely amazing having you guys on. I really appreciate you taking the time out to come on, share, your wisdom, just converse with us, have a nice little chill conversation. So it's been awesome.
Appreciate you guys for having us, man. This
Yeah.
is dope. This is fun. I can't wait for this episode to be released and see other ones. I know you guys have a dope lineup too.
Working on it. Yeah, we got some 6-figure traders coming up. So
we're excited to keep it rolling, but you guys have been awesome, and we'll definitely, always open to shooting some more episodes together. For those of anyone who may have missed it, these guys are Gian and Duber from Forex House Miami, so be sure to check out their Instagram. They post so much valuable content. Like Gian said, he touched upon a video, I think it was like a week or 2 ago, 2 weeks now probably, about, who you spend your time with, and just like those little tips are huge game changers. So be sure to check out their page, follow them, follow their journey. It's really inspiring.
Appreciate
it. And shout out to both y'all's personal pages as well. I know, Duber, you post daily breakdowns, literally giving you guys the tools for success on how they do things. I mean, it's all out there. You just got to dissect it, and you just got to read through the information and apply it. So appreciate you guys for being an asset to the community, at least inside the area that we're inside.
Of course, man. Anytime. I appreciate you guys for having us here, man. We're more than grateful to be able to just talk with traders, man. Like, this is what we love to do. Just talk with traders.
Talk to traders, connect, share experiences. We speak the same language, so, it's pretty dope. Outside of this, it gets lonely because nobody understands. They're like, what's the GBP trade? It's like, nah, bro, okay, and then we just talk to traders.
Hey, what's GU? Is that a ticker? It's like,
No, it's so true. It really is. Like that's why the inspiration behind this is I can talk trading all day long, and like if someone the people we hang out outside of trading, they don't really understand the information, so it's so refreshing just to get on and chop it up with like-minded people.
Yeah.
Appreciate you guys for having me.
All right, thanks guys. Thanks. Peace out.
Bye guys. Thank you. Have a good day.